There is a room in the city that does not exist on any blueprint, rental record, or registry. It is not listed on fire escape plans, not shown in satellite imagery, not even acknowledged by the architects who swear it could not possibly be there. But I found it, or more accurately, it found me. It began one humid evening in July, when the air was thick with the smell of burnt wires and spoiled fruit, the kind of stench that clings to your skin and crawls into your lungs. I had taken the elevator to the 10th floor of an office building I was freelancing in, a place I had visited dozens of times before, a place I knew like the grooves on my own fingers. Yet that night, when the elevator doors opened, I was not on the 10th floor. The hallway was longer, darker, dustier. The walls were an old seafoam green, the kind of institutional color used in forgotten hospitals and abandoned schools. The lights above flickered in a slow, rhythmic pattern, not random like a faulty bulb, but deliberate like breathing. I should have gone back down. Every instinct screamed at me to leave, but something in the air kept me there. A sound, faint but persistent. A low, deep hum that seemed to come from within the walls themselves, vibrating gently through the floor, resonating in my teeth and the back of my skull. I followed the hum down the hallway, passing doors with no numbers, no labels, no locks. The air was colder the further I walked, though my skin remained clammy, as if the cold were not from temperature, but from absence. The hallway ended at a door that should not have been there. It was perfectly symmetrical, polished, almost new, standing in violent contrast to the decaying corridor. The hum behind it grew stronger, not louder, but more alive, more complex, like it was aware that I was near. I opened the door without hesitation. The room was large, larger than the building could physically accommodate. The ceilings were impossibly high, disappearing into darkness. The floor was smooth concrete, perfectly clean. The walls were blank, seamless, featureless. In the center of the room stood a single chair, facing nothing, under a single light that buzzed softly, yet did not illuminate anything beyond its circle. I stepped inside and the door vanished behind me. There was no sound of it closing, no lock, no click. It was simply gone, replaced by more of the same blank wall. I should have panicked, but the hum was stronger now, curling around my mind like a lullaby sung in a forgotten language. I sat in the chair without deciding to. It felt like memory, like I had done this before. The hum shifted, modulated, became more intricate. And then the room spoke, not in words, not in voice. It communicated through sensation, a pressure in my chest, a warmth in my spine, a flood of images that bled into my vision like watercolor on soaked paper. It showed me things I could not have imagined, births that ended before breath, shadows with memory, structures buried beneath the crust of the earth, still pulsing with heat from a forgotten sun. It showed me versions of myself, hundreds of them, living different lives, dying different deaths. Some were monsters. Some were saints. All of them ended up in the chair. Every timeline collapsed into that room. Every path led there. I was not chosen. I was inevitable. Time stopped functioning the way it should. I do not know how long I sat in the chair. I do not know if I stood up, if I slept, if I aged. I only remember the humming and the visions, each more vivid, more invasive, each stripping me of a layer of myself until I could no longer remember my name, my past, or why I had ever entered the building in the first place. And then, suddenly, I was outside, standing in an alley behind the building. It was daylight. Birds chirped. Cars passed. People walked by as if nothing had happened. But everything had changed. The city looked the same, but the hum was still in my head. Faint behind everything, beneath the traffic, beneath the wind, beneath even the silence. It was still there, waiting. I returned home and found that my apartment no longer recognized me. My key did not fit the lock. My neighbors had never seen me before. My name had been wiped from the mailboxes. The landlord claimed I had moved out months ago. I checked my phone. All messages gone. Contacts erased. My face in the front camera looked blurred, slightly distorted, as though I had been duplicated and imperfectly reassembled. I walked to my parents' home across the city. They opened the door and looked at me like I was a stranger. They were polite but distant. Told me their son had died 6 years ago. Car accident. Closed casket. I checked the records at the city morgue. There was a file. My name. My face. My body. I stared into the photo and it stared back. Identical, except the version in the picture had no eyes. Just smooth, pale skin where they should have been. I turned and walked out. The hum grew louder. Now I live in the spaces in between. I do not sleep. I do not eat. I do not bleed. I exist, but not entirely. The room let me go, but not without a price. I was meant to be deleted, but something interfered. Maybe curiosity. Maybe cruelty. Maybe a flaw in the system. I wander the city at night, searching for the door again, but it will not open twice. Not for the same person. I see others now. People who move slightly too still. Blink too slowly. Eyes that reflect nothing. I know they've been in the room too. I know they hear the hum. We are echoes. Leftovers. Data fragments corrupted by contact with the source. We are not haunted. We are the haunting. So if you ever find yourself on a floor that should not exist, if you hear the hum beneath your feet, walk away. Forget the door. Forget the curiosity. Forget the call. Because once you sit in the chair, you do not leave whole. You do not leave at all.